Hey, welcome back to That's What He Said. I'm your host, Natalie, and this is a podcast about dating. Before you watch, make sure you subscribe, follow, like, comment, rate, review, and share the show. Let's find out what he said.
Paul Boudwin.
We're busy.
Welcome to That's What He Said.
Glad to be here.
This is Paul Boudwin. Introduce yourself. Tell us kind of what you do. We're wearing your clothing, so tell us about that.
Okay, my name's Paul Boudwin or Boudwin. Can it be pronounced either way? I'm a financial wealth advisor here in Houston. 16 years ago, I retired playing professional poker for 2 years and read a magazine while in a poker tournament that a lot of investment bankers and hedge fund managers were quitting, becoming poker players. I did the opposite route. 2 years was very great, made a lot of money, but just a very grind. So I got my Series 7, 6, 63, 65 and started working for Bank of America, Merrill Lynch. 6 or 7 years, went on to Regions Private Wealth. And now I'm in the independent firm called Wealth Standard Financial, where we do retirement planning, tax optimization, estate planning, long-term care, everything when it comes to your financial needs. And then I started a clothing line that we'll get into later called Unlike Regular People, where fitness meets fashion. It's athleisure wear, jackets, hoodies, yoga pants, unisex, and that's what Natalie's wearing.
Yes. So we can start there because I know like your kind of part of your personal story is wrapped up in the brand. So Unlike Regular People is the name of your clothing line. Tell us about that, how it started, where you got the idea, and like where your heart is at in it.
Well, when I moved out to Houston from Scottsdale, I grew up in Philadelphia. Fly, Eagles, fly. Back to the Super Bowl this year. I was 16 when my parents told me we were moving to Scottsdale. My older brother stayed back home in Philadelphia and went to Delaware. So I went to Scottsdale for 7 years, finished high school, and went to Arizona State. My older brother, got the job as the Houston Rockets mascot in 1998.
Wow.
So I would come out here, and I'd love to dance. I was a dancer, like in a little group back in Scottsdale. Picked up dancing originally with my friends that I grew up with in Philly.
I was a dancer too.
Really?
Yeah, I was actually in a Rockets halftime show one time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, with the team I was on.
Okay, so were you like cheerleader or dancer?
Dancer.
Okay.
Yeah, I did cheer when I was really young, but mostly a dancer, like jazz training, a little bit of ballet, but mostly jazz and hip hop.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I had a voice, I would have been in a boy band, but no. I tried to rap and everything. That wasn't for me. But anyway, I dressed very, very, I was very skinny. I used to wear extra large. I was so insecure about my skin and bones that I used to wear extra large thinking it would make me look bigger, not look skinnier, but looking
Sure.
back on it, it made me look just more ridiculous. So anyway, when I moved out here, I used to have like platinum white hair, and I met a lot of people throughout the day, throughout Rocket games. And everyone, I used to get called Eminem every day because he had just come out like a year before that in 2000.
So you had that style kind of.
Yeah, well, very skinny white boy, white hair.
Yeah.
I mean, in hip hop, there's not really many to choose from. I got to meet Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and that's the first thing he said. Yeah, I have a pretty cool picture of it, well before cell phones, obviously. But he even said, like, you trying to be Eminem there? And I was like, man, he came out a year ago. I've been bleaching my hair for 3 years. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, Unlike Regular People, so I danced, played poker. That's all I really did at Arizona State. I wasn't a big frat guy, never got into frat, never understood why you had to pay to become friends, So I worked at Outback Steakhouse in Scottsdale, played casinos at night, and played basketball. That's all I did. Never really a big partier. So when I moved out here, I still dressed like that. I loved wearing hoodies. I loved wearing sweatpants. So flash forward later, when I got into finance in 2006, it was 5, 6, 7 years of my career when coworkers, because we'd have to wear suits every day, 9 to 5. This would well before COVID. You had to be in the office at 8:30 a.m. looking good, shaved. No, especially with Merrill Lynch, white America. You had to be shaved, cufflinks, watches, everything, iron shirts. And I looked great. I'd look great in a suit. I was one of the best looking or best dressed in the office. But on the nights and weekends, after I got done playing ball, I would be, whether I was in the Galleria, out and about, I would be in sweatpants and hoodies. And it came back to me that I would start getting judged and held back from performances in corporate America at work during these days. And that led to a lawsuit.
Because of how you were dressed.
Because the way I was dressed on my spare time. Have you ever seen Boudwin dress?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got called a wigger.
Wow.
Yeah. On email too, like the stuff would be documented. So the long story short, there was for NDA purposes, I can't really discuss the details of it, but I had a lawsuit that I won for discrimination, and I started Unlike Regular People, an athleisure line, because unlike regular people is having a mind of your own. Ever since you're born, you're lied to, whether it's about Santa Claus, certain religions, certain gender qualifications, racial qualifications. So it's just like do what you think is the true definition of right. Like collect the information and challenge everything in a very harmony way. Like don't make protests to where you're like hurting other people, aggressive. But it's all right to say, like, well, where'd you get this information? Like, what if I think different? I mean, women couldn't vote 60, 70 years ago. We had to drink from different water fountains. Rules it's all right to question rules and the why behind it. So that's what Unlike Regular People is really about.
Yeah. Because you were kind of this, I guess, you were unlike, you didn't fit the mold.
Never have.
Being a white guy, but being like, I guess kind of, you gravitated towards like hip hop culture and the clothing, the music, the people. Yet you were in corporate America where you're supposed to be suit and tie all the time.
Correct.
So I really like it. I really like the message. It resonates with me too, just because kind of like we were talking about earlier, I've always just been very authentic and honest and direct, and it's just the way I am. I'm not trying to be that way. It's just that's the way God made me.
Yeah.
And so it does make me unlike regular, quote unquote, regular people, in the sense that I just don't follow the crowd.
Right.
I like what you stand for sure. And your logo on your sleeve.
That is the fingerprint barcode. It's tell me your story. What makes you different? What makes you unlike regular people? Yeah, a lot of people have asked me, is that really your fingerprint? No, it's not my fingerprint, but it's supposed to be like a representation.
Yeah. I love it. And you've been doing that for how long?
This is going into my 4th year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite piece that you've made?
Well,
would it be the jacket?
That reversible jackets is how I started. Thank you for reminding me. It's whatever city you're from. It's your 2 favorite teams. One side is one color, the other side is the other color.
I'm gonna pull it out.
Yeah, Natalie's gonna get.
So if you're on audio right now, this is a good time to switch over to YouTube and see. We're gonna do a little unboxing here. I actually have not even seen this. This is it says URP. And then the matching pants. What color is this?
I call that like cream.
Okay.
With the light brown mocha embroidery. I'll mess with a lot of the colors. That's another thing I really like.
We're gonna get to the show in a minute, but if people who know me watching, they know I love clothes and stuff. So
this is Japanese crepe satin. That's the fabric.
Okay, so this is what you started with, is these reversible jackets.
Yes, they all have names. This is Blink. Blink, half pink, half black.
Oh, nice.
So one side is all pink, and then the other side is all black. It's got embroideries on both, pockets on both.
And then you said you were doing these with sports teams?
Yeah. I wouldn't put their names on it, obviously, for
just the
copyright
colors.
Endorsement lawsuits. But it's like if this Eagles is not anywhere on this, but anyone that knows anything knows this is Kelly Green and it's the Eagles color. So
yeah. Okay, so this is the pink side.
That fits you very, very well.
I love the pink. Oh, there's the logo there. Nice. I love it. It's
now put the
very
black side
soft.
on. And
everything's very comfortable, I have to say.
Thank you.
It does. I have had sweats from Lulu or Aloe, like all the popular brands, and I think the quality really compares, to be honest.
I love Lulu. These pants are Aloe. You know, so.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
I said something this weekend at a meeting with a client. I said, I don't want everyone wearing URP. That's why I'm kind of just enjoying the ride. And everyone keeps saying, oh, man, I see your stuff everywhere. The gyms, the clubs. You know, I did a big shout out to the Clay Group. All their places, whether it's Heights Social, Bisou, Clay, Fancies, Boulevard. I've done huge orders with them, not only their employers, their owners, their bartenders, bottle service girls. A lot of my models are from there. But you know, Salim and Zach, Dallas, all of them were great to work with. And it's kind of spiraled. Other little small places have been like, hey, I want some of your jackets. Because I have varsity jackets. I was going to bring you one of those. I didn't really know your style, though. You know?
Well, you got it right with the pink and cream.
Good,
so
good.
That was very on target. Hey lovers, use my code NV15OFF for 15% off all URP wear. You can go to their website, urpwear.com, or check them out on Instagram at urpwear. And seriously, y'all, these clothes are really good quality. The set that I'm wearing in this episode is so comfortable. It's soft, it's warm, it's not that cheap, thin sweatshirt quality. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's top tier, comparable to all the most popular brands that we know and love. I love this color of the set. I also have the hoodie in tan, which is just as great. I wear it all the time. They don't get messed up in the washer and dryer. They don't fade. It's worth the purchase. I'm a huge fan. I also love what URP stands for. Unlike regular people, being authentic, being yourself, go against the grain. I absolutely love it. So again, go to their website, urpwear.com. NV15 off is your code for 15% off at purchase. I will put the links and code in the episode description. Thanks for watching. Obviously, this is a dating podcast. We just know a little bit about like what's kind of your history with dating, relationships.
Never been married. Close when I was at Bank of America, and I dated a girl, and she moved away. But I'm pretty much very pragmatic, you know, thinking like I believe in love, I believe in monogamy, but I believe, back to the unlike regular people, most of us get married because it's what we're told to do. Go to college, white picket fence, then you get married, then you have a kid, then you get a dog. Well, it's just like, well, what if I don't fall into that game of monopoly life? Like, am I different? Am I bad? Am I scorned? I think it's more acceptable for a man to go that path than a female. Yeah. But it's just like marriage is the only contract that I know of that does not have a performance prerequisite after you sign the contract. It's like, all right, now I'm married. Like the last serious relationship I've been into, I stopped doing what I loved. I stopped playing basketball. I stopped working out as much. And then I look at a picture a year after that. I was like, God, I didn't look happy. Yeah. So it's just like, I think in order for me to get into another serious relationship, it would have to be like, I want a partner. Yeah. I don't want a liability. Sure. You know, so it's not about like when you had asked before about dating and paying. It's like, it's not about being cheap because I don't want to pay for the whole date. It's like, what are you going to bring to the table in this relationship? You know?
Yeah, I hear that more and more, I think, from guys who, how old are you?
46.
46, yeah. So, yeah, like 40s, 50s that see, I guess I'll call it like the institution of marriage and what it's become, and that it's, like, I think personally, people nowadays in our culture, they don't value marriage or really understand what it is the way that they used to. So people end up in these miserable situations where, to your point, like, one or both people are not really holding up their end of the bargain. And then if it doesn't work out, they want to get divorced, you know, men really do kind of get screwed worse than women.
Why?
As far as how things work here. Just because everything's like 50-50 in the state of Texas when you get a divorce.
But what if you made more?
But yeah, if that would be less usual. So that's why I said typically it's the guy who's getting screwed more in the divorce as far as finances, because typically he's going to bring more assets or money to the marriage. So I understand it, but I think a good marriage, there are contractual, you're making an agreement, a bond, a covenant that is not like, okay, now we're legally bound, we have the same last name, everything's shared, whatever. It's not really about the legality. It should be about the morality of it.
Right.
Why are you getting married? If the why is to be a partnership, to be partners for life, to be in this covenant, to do that for the rest of your life, to raise kids together, then there has to be, you have to hold up your end of the bargain.
Right.
Yeah, which people don't do. Someone said something to me recently. People get divorced because the relationship doesn't go the way they thought it would go, something like that.
What way do you think they thought it was going to go?
Well, whatever their preconceived notion
of what they've learned their whole life.
They said your life doesn't end up. You get people who get married and divorced. It's usually because their life didn't turn out the way they pictured it would with this person.
Correct.
But that's not why you should be picking that person. You should be picking them for who they are.
Correct.
You want to go to war with that person.
Correct.
Rather than, oh, yeah, I'll marry you because you promised to give me this kind of lifestyle or whatever. You promised to give me babies, which I see that a lot. So I'm somewhat agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah. No, it's you just nailed it. It's the preconceived notions and everything we've gotten injected into our brains from Matthew McConaughey romance movies to where they're singing on a bridge with flowers that I love you. That if you get anything less than that, you're going to be like, this isn't the guy.
Right.
This isn't him. Not you specifically, but females that they need that. And then there's some like pressure for a guy that has to do that. Think of all this. And it's just, think how much money the concept of marriage generates for our country. There's not a thing,
Explain that.
Just from everything in marriage, just from the proposal, the trip for the proposal, the dinner, thinking of inviting all the friends, the marriage, the wedding itself, the gifts, the bachelor party, the bachelorette party, 50% of the times that their relationship contract will break up in divorce, then the divorce attorneys, the divorce parties, all that, boom, we're back to Vegas again to celebrate the same thing we celebrated 4 years ago that we're supposed to be happy about. Then, all right, if we get married again, it just does it again. It's just back to my financial. I'm getting my CDFA this year, Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, where we're required to sit in a collaborative divorce. If you and I are married for 8 years and we're still best friends, we still get along, but we decide to go our separate ways and we do a collaborative divorce to keep the costs down, a CDFA advisor has to sit in. So let's just say you're the breadwinner and I get a large sum of money. As to your point, normally it is the female that she gets, let's say, $500,000 or $1 million and doesn't know what to really do with it. And she knows she doesn't want to go to the Galleria and spend $10,000 a month, and 2 years later she has nothing. But she invests with a financial advisor, and she becomes financial literate, and that's what a CDFA does. But yeah, the concept of marriage is one of our most stimulating businesses in our country. Lucrative, yeah. No matter what it'll grow to. I'm pretty sure if I sit in front of clients and show them an illustration or a proposal for a mutual fund or hedge fund, and I say there's a 50% chance that you're going to lose all your money, I don't think there's a client I've ever sat in front of, no matter what their ethnicity, gender, age, of the thousands of people I've ever sat in front of, would ever say, oh, I'll take it. Sign me up.
Yeah.
But marriage is because it's the way we've been taught.
Yeah. But you would be, and you didn't specify earlier, but you would be like, I guess, open to a long-term partnership, maybe not marriage in a legal contractual sense.
Yes, but even if that partner 3 or 4 years down the road, if I knew how much it meant to her, I definitely would entertain marriage. I mean, because I'm doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
To speak to your point, in her 20s and 30s, we'll take you for example. Since you asked me my age, how old are you?
31.
31. Okay.
Yes. I win.
Why?
I'm just saying, just joking because I'm younger.
Yeah. No, I have a chapter in my book about when you're young, you want to be old, and when you're old, you want to be young. Unlike regular people are content with the age they're in.
Yeah.
That being old is okay. Older.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, because it's experience, you know? So it's like enjoy when you're young, enjoy being 10, because you're going to be 40 and wish you were 10 again. When you're 40, enjoy being 40. Don't go out and try to look younger, you know?
Right.
I mean, but a lot of people, especially men, go for looks. And that is so dangerous, because you're talking about marriage.
Right.
Looks, yeah, that matters for the interview and the first 3 or 4 months, but then people be getting married, and especially when it comes to like makeup to me, it's almost scary, because these women take 2 hours
I
to
hear
get
that a lot.
their masks.
Yeah.
Think about a mask. Think about going out with me and I had a mask on. And I had Brad Pitt, or who do you like? Who's your number one two crushes in Hollywood?
Oh man, probably Patrick Dempsey.
Okay. Patrick Dempsey. Hey, he's 50.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick Dempsey. That's great. And if I had a Patrick Dempsey mask on, I was like, hey, it was nice meeting you. It's just like, so I don't mind makeup, but I also need naturel in my life, you know? But other than that, after 3 months, it's who that person is on the inside. So, of course, a lot of relationships are going to fail when you're looking for A, looks, ignoring B and C, personality, maybe religious beliefs, maybe a politics belief. And then you come to this like, oh my God, because looks are going to fade.
Right.
Regardless. So if that person isn't your best friend and you don't understand that person, it's going to fail.
Yeah, yeah. I want to come back to that because I have a question for you, but I want to get into asking you kind of some questions about just financial wellness and stuff, because we did one episode somewhat about money, but it was more so just from the guy perspective, like, you know, what do you think about 50-50 and stuff, which is a hot trending topic. But I think the consensus is like, okay, yes, men want to provide. If you're a man and you want to sit around and do nothing, you're not a man. Nobody, like a very small percentage of people would be okay with that on either side.
Agree.
That's just the way y'all are wired. And then there's this question of, well, should the woman feel like she has to work? Does she have to work? If she doesn't want to work, does that mean she's not a valuable partner? You know, who pays? Should guys be paying for everything while they're pursuing her? It's just like all these questions around money. And then I got a comment on a YouTube video recently at another podcast that I did where I said, basically my stance was, I think that men should be able to provide for the household. And that might be not up to, like, you know, you might not be living a lavish lifestyle and be a Pilates princess, but I think he should be able to provide for the family. And then if the wife wants to work and contribute, that's okay. But if she wants to raise the children, that should be okay too. That's my stance. And I think if you're a woman and you go out and work and you're making $200,000 a year, you don't get to pocket all that just because your husband's paying the mortgage, you know,
right.
You have to contribute. So that's kind of where I stand right now. But the comment on this YouTube video kind of made me just think through things, because he was saying, well, he was being kind of a hater, and he's like, well, she's going to be single forever in this economy, because he's just saying it's not realistic for men to provide for a wife and children nowadays in the world that we live in. So I want to ask you that, knowing what you know about finances, is it realistic nowadays for men to be providers of the home?
I still think it is. And to go back and to tie it into my financial career, everyone is different. What's your objective? That's one of the main questions we ask in a meeting, our first time meeting with a client. We call it discovery. It's, what are your goals? What is your objective? Because our advice is going to be completely different, just similar to a doctor when we need to find out what's wrong with you, what ails you, what's your pain. Because I can't just prescribe you this if this is wrong or that is wrong. So it all depends the objective. When it comes to kids, it's like if you don't want to have kids and you get married to somebody that doesn't have kids, well, then I think it'd be more expecting, well, what are you going to do during the day?
Sure.
You know, what's your passion? You know, you might work for doors and windows. That's your career. And then your passion could be this.
Right.
Right? That's working. And when you sell with a noble purpose or, you know, the labor of love, you know, you're doing something you love. They say you never work a day in your life. That's this.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing this on nights and weekends, running around. You know, I might work for 8 hours and move 20, 30 units, sets or something like that, and make chump change, not make a lot of money, but I enjoyed it.
Sure.
You know, so if you're doing that and you're bringing something to the table, like you said, it doesn't have to be dollar for dollar. No one's counting, but it's just what effort are you putting in? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think what you're saying is like effort towards the relationship or the household. And I think what I'm saying is for some women, that may not be a dollar amount at all. I mean, raising kids is a full-time job.
100%.
But yeah, I mean, I guess if you're not having kids, you know, what are you doing?
That's what the objective.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Where I think dating, especially dating apps are an aquarium of just fish getting thrown back in. And I know that might sound kind of harsh, but
no, that's true.
right. And what I say, the reason why that dating apps, in my opinion, don't work is 90% of men are probably trying to get laid. 10% of are trying to find a relationship. Whereas 90% of girls are trying to find the relationship. 10% are just trying to get laid or over their ex or something like that. So there's just ships ready to collide and just get in an accident because their objectives are real. And of course, the men aren't going to say that. They're going to be on an interview saying what they know the woman wants to hear. And it's just like, wow, the dating apps don't work? No.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I definitely am not a big dating app fan. But as far as the question on providing for the home, what realistically nowadays, let's say in Houston, because I know that can vary, what dollar amount would a man have to be making to own a home, provide for a wife, and let's say 2 kids?
Is the wife working?
No.
Okay, so if the wife's not earning income, in general, around $200,000. I mean, that doesn't mean they couldn't be done if someone made $80,000 because there are people that eat at home every day, you know, that don't go out to, like you said, live in a lavish lifestyle to where a night out at Chili's on a Saturday night is their big dinner, not Steak 48 or Mastro's or bottle service where you spend $800, you know, on a random weekend night.
So you would say $200,000 is probably to be a homeowner with a wife and 2 kids to be like comfortable.
Comfortable.
Probably. Would that be like kind of paycheck to paycheck?
Pretty close, especially with the last 4 years of inflation. You know, inflation is at an all-time high. We're all at an all-time high in credit card debt. So everyone out there that has incurred more credit card debt, don't feel bad. You're not in this alone. We're a have it. We're a want it now. I'm gonna have it now society. With credit cards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. You like that set at Aloe, Lululemon, $200 sets. People are gonna put it on their credit card. You know. Oh my God, I got $30,000 in credit card bills. It's like, well, if you can't afford it then, don't buy it.
Right. Yeah. So what percentage of Americans are making $200,000 or more, if you know, or if you can guess?
No, I remember right before the election, this was a big topic, and I think it's like 1.9% make above 200,000.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a lot at all. And it's funny you say that because like I hear lots of girls talking, like the girlfriends that I'm with, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, a guy needs to make at least that," and I'm like, think about how that sounds.
Yeah.
Like that, like I think that is like when you really analyze that, really like money, really, and you're just they're so okay with saying that out loud.
Yeah.
So what is the difference when a guy says, okay, well, you need to look like this, you need to look like that? I saw one of your podcasts about bottle service girls. I'm like, Well, if that's shallow, how is that? You know?
Sure.
What's wrong with saying that if you're a man?
Yeah. Yeah, Izzy, I did an episode with a guy named Izzy Rodriguez, and it's clipped like as a reel, but he says, like, if she's saying I need a man to make this amount or more in order to be with me because I want to live a certain lifestyle, then why can't a man say that?
Right.
And it definitely gave me pause because I was like, he was like, you'll never hear a guy say that. Like, she has to make 200,000 or more in
Right.
order to be with me. But I mean, it's a tough thing to navigate because I think a lot of women want to be able to stay home and raise their kids, and that's fair, and not work. But not 2% of people are making 200,000 or more.
Right. It's not realistic.
It doesn't add up. Yeah.
It's, again, what they get injected in from the movies they watch, from the shows they watch, from their friends, from what they see now, even multiplied on social media,
Right.
that this is somehow the norm.
Yeah.
Where, no, it's really not. Like,
If we only have, okay, let me back up and say where I'm coming at this from, because I feel like especially my generation, millennials, like struggle financially. So they say, I saw something the other day that said like the starter home for millennials is dead. Like, people can't buy starter homes. It's just like we don't have the money, the assets, the investments that our parents, grandparents had.
why do you think that is?
I don't know. That's what I want your insight on, and how we can change that. So if we're only got less than 2% of people making 200,000, which if that's the bare minimum nowadays to be able to provide for a wife and kids, that's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we not doing, or what should we be doing as, young people that have a future that we can build to be more financially well?
Yeah. So this is exactly what I do during the day, not just, open up accounts and track the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about immediate gratification earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people hear something is too good to be true. It's probably true. I was in the Heights this past Saturday night with a few clients,
Mm-hmm.
and I was telling somebody like 90% of bars fail. Everyone loves like, oh, we should open up a bar. This is so cool, blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
and they do, and they don't know what they're doing. I managed bars actually in my little stint before I played poker. When I moved out here and before I got into poker, I managed Little Woodrow's, and I was the general manager of the State Bar and Lounge in the Rice Hotel, where like a lot of oil and gas and lawyers and bankers go. So 90% of bars, they just fail. People think immediate gratification. Oh, I got 100K. I want to make 20% returns. Like 20% return, that's unheard of consistently. Yeah, Bitcoin is a big thing right now. Bitcoin has doubled in 2 months. It goes from 30 to 60, then to 90. It's just like, yeah, well, it's a trading vehicle. We don't know how conservative it is. It's not a long-term investment. That doesn't mean it's not going to succeed. But the rule of 72 is divide 72 by any number of what interest rate you think you can get. So if you can get 9%, 72 divided by 9 is 8. 8 years, your money can double.
Okay.
That's how long. So if you can get 10%, your money can double in 7.2 years.
Okay.
So many people want immediate gratification, and they don't think about the future. Taxes, 401ks and IRAs, they're all fully taxable to what could be when you retire at 35 or 40%. So why do you want to start a retirement plan and build it to $2 million, and then you owe the government $700,000 or $800,000 out of that $2 million? Why? Because 401ks and IRAs are backed by the institutions and the government. They get their money back. That's what they want. So it's a good CFP or financial advisor will talk about other ways, life insurance, Roth IRAs, and IUL, what I've talked about.
I have a Roth IRA.
Roth, that's great. That's wonderful. But
Yes.
what an IUL is just a Roth IRA on steroids. It's an insurance policy, life insurance policy, indexed universal life insurance policy that can grow at around 6 to 7% a year. You overfund the cash value, so it grows just like your retirement plan, and then you take the money back out down the road, but tax-free, just like a Roth IRA.
Okay.
So it doesn't have immediate gratification. You're not going to benefit on it next year, 2 years, and from now. But we also call it a LIRP, L-I-R-P, Life Insurance Retirement Plan. So getting stuff like that, it sets you up for the future. Oh,
Okay.
and then if something happens along the way, it has a death benefit to where if me and you die in a car accident, our kids, our beneficiaries, they're set for life with $1 million death benefit.
Right, right. Okay, so that makes sense for long term. What can people be doing now, in the now, on a day to day, or should they be doing to be more financially literate and to just have more money? I mean, if you're somebody who's, let's say you're making $80,000 a year, but you want to build wealth, what do you have to do?
Set up a Roth IRA. That would be
Okay.
number one step. Or like I said, an IUL. Have different buckets. You're going to have your checking account. You're going to have your bank account. A lot of people say have 3 to 6 months of expenses in that. And then other investment accounts, talk to a financial advisor. And if you haven't, a financial advisor is no different than a doctor. You go in to a doctor because it's about your health, or a trainer at the gym. And as much as you tell them is what you're going to get back. I mean, if you go into a doctor and you don't tell them the truth, they're not going to be able to give you the most solid, accurate advice. So you tell them your goals, because a lot of people have different goals, risk tolerance. Some people are older, have kids, but just get financial literate. There's lots of things that you can read, CNN Money, be up to date with the stock market. No, a lot of people that were very big into politics, I saw, they had no clue like what each side were talking about when it comes to capital gains tax and stuff like that. And to me, that amazes me. How can you be that passionate about something and really not know the differences and what it means to you with taxes going forward?
Right. Well, you touched on it earlier about instant gratification, but if you were advising, let's say you had a son who was 35, and let's say he was single but wanted, like, maybe had a girlfriend but was like, I can't pay for a wedding, I can't, like, I would feel inadequate to provide. Has a decent job, maybe he makes $100,000 and has credit card debt, just doesn't really have much to his name, but it's kind of like, well, you're 35, what have you been doing? How do people stop mismanaging their money nowadays?
Eliminating debt is very important. Eliminating the right debt. Some debt is okay to have. For example, a low mortgage, not a balance, but a low mortgage rate. Like if you have a $300,000-$400,000 mortgage, that's okay because you can write off the interest. Even if it's a margin loan or a security-based loan, which means if $1 million investment account, if you have a loan against that for, let's say, $400,000 at 4% or 5%, which is based on LIBOR, but you're making 8% on that money that you're not separating with, we're not giving $500,000 for that retirement home or vacation home. We're taking a loan or against our investment account, but we're getting 8% on the return from that $500,000 minus the 4% we're paying for the loan. That positive difference, 4%, that's called arbitrage. You're making 4%, and you're not separating, you're not leaving, you're not giving away your $400,000, which is also a taxable event. When you sell assets, you have to pay taxes on the gain. So that's a very wealth way to manage money, because you need to have a large investment account. But again, you're talking to a financial advisor about your options. Home ownership in itself, in my opinion, is a big racket too. You own a home, correct? So I've owned a home for 15 years, but when you add up and you sit there, the taxes that you pay, the HOA fees, your costs, fixing the house, and you write that on paper. My house is doubled. I live in Edo, right around the corner. And it's just like, I've lived there and I've been fortunate enough for my house to double since I bought it. But it's just like, man, all that equity that I have built up in the house over the last X amount of years, that's what I've paid in taxes and insurance. So renting is where it's at. You can pack up and leave in 6 months when your lease is up. You don't have to fix anything. If something breaks, you call the maintenance man. Hey, man, I'm going out for the weekend. Check it out. My fan's broken. Air conditioning's broken. fix it, boom.
Yeah.
But you got to fix that. You got to take care of it. You got to go Home Depot. You got to be your own slumlord, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, back to unlike regular people, it's home ownership in America is cracked up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's definitely always like something that's taught typically by your parents or whoever, that you should buy a home, you know, after you
Don't throw away rent
and get a good job, you should buy a home. You know, renting's just burning money, which I think it can be if you're like renting just way above your means, I
Right.
guess. I definitely see both sides. I think there's pros and cons to both renting or buying, and you should just do whichever you prefer.
Yeah.
But as long as you still have enough money to invest in things that's actually going to give you something back.
Correct. And it's all about your objective. How long are you going to be there? Mm-hmm. If you're going to be there a long time, then it makes more sense to own, like a car versus ownership versus lease.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. What are your thoughts on the whole 50-50 argument? So, like what we see on TikTok and stuff is just that men will say everything should be 50-50, split everything. Like, she should be, you know, if you're married or you're in a long-term relationship and she's making money, I'm making money, we split the rent, we split the bills, we split the groceries. And then you have girls who come out and say, well, that's not right. Like, I want a guy who's going to take care of me. And then those same girls go and they're like, well, I'm not going to deal with this lowly peasant who wants 50-50, so I'm going to go shoot for a rich guy. But then it's like, okay, so you want a rich guy, so then you can stay at home and do nothing.
Right.
So there's all this like debate going on. What are your thoughts realistically on 50-50? Is it fair? Is it wrong? Is it too feminine for guys to say that?
No, I don't think it's unfair. I mean, I see where they're saying like we want 50-50, but it's presumptuous to think anything can be 50-50. I mean, if it starts at 50-50, what happens if you blow up and you become the next Oprah Winfrey, you know, and you stay with the current guy you're dating? It's just like, well, you're probably going to be, hey, let's go on this trip to Rome on a private jet. Well, you're probably going to finance that because you're blowing up, right?
Right.
I mean, or does that mean since you blow up now you leave your love of your life because you want to upgrade? You know, like, where does it stop? Money is just one of many components of a relationship that is unfortunately too overrated.
Yeah.
Because greed in our country, it's unfortunate. But I mean, kind of what I spoke to about before. It's I want to see a person try.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I don't like entitlement. I was out this past weekend with 3 of my girlfriends, you know, all beautiful, just like yourself. Not 31, but they definitely were still young, you know,
Sure.
in their 40s. And the woman took our order. I think it was, I forget, like she took it like symmetrically in the circle, like girl, me, girl, and then just looked at me and was like, yeah, that'll be $112.50. And I was just like, why do you automatically assume I'm paying for it? Like, I'm not romantically involved with any of these 3 girls. Like, that's so offensive, I think, to automatically assume just because I'm the man. Working in the service industry too, there's other ways to go about that. Because if I do want to buy them a drink, I want to make it look like I'm doing a nice thing, not like I'm forced to. Sure. Like, okay, I'm the guy, I guess I got to pay for it. To where I want her to be, it's easily solvable. You just say, well, will that be separate or together?
Right.
So if I do want to pay for it, I go, oh, I'm going to get these drinks, ladies. Oh, well, thank you very much, Paul. Not just hand me the, you know, the credit card machine, like make me pay for it. It's just like, I think it's just as idiotic as me saying, oh, well, I pay for the drink, so I'm hooking up with all 3 of y'all tonight. Or some shit, you know?
Why do you think she made that assumption?
Well, unfortunately, because that little culture of like going out, bottle section service, it's like I'm the guy, I'm paying for it, I'm the financer, and these are the girls, and that's what a lot of they're used to. So when they're working there, they just want to make the assumption, the implied assumption, man is going to pay for it. So I kind of wanted to teach her kind of a lesson and just be like, why would you assume that?
Yeah.
And now if I look like an asshole or a cheap guy, You know, even though, what does that make them? They were never thinking about paying for them. So if the guys are cheap, what does that make the girls, you know?
Sure.
Like, how also is that not looked
What
at?
did the girls say? The girls you were with?
I asked their advice after, and
Okay.
I was already had a lot of, they knew who I was. They knew what kind of person I was. They're like, no, we think you handled that very well. Like, we were definitely like, we weren't expecting you to pay for it. I'm like, yeah, but did I come across as like, and I think the girl smiled at me at the end, and she took it okay.
Sure.
Like, what would you do if you were out with two of your girlfriends and a good guy friend?
Yeah, I mean, if we were all friends, I would not expect the guy friend to pay by any means.
If he did, though, would you go out of your way to buy the next round?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking about like you're out having drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would, yeah, if he bought, I think that's the expectation, at least in my friend group. If someone is buying a round of drinks, then it's kind of like if you're going to buy another round, it's someone else's turn.
That's how I grow up too,
Yeah.
with the girls
Unless
that I'm
you
friends
like,
with.
that's why I was asking, is it just drinks? I think if you're at like a dinner, then you would just either have separate checks or all one check and then you all split it by however many people are there.
Right. And if you get asked to go to dinner, that's completely different. If I
Okay.
ask you to go to dinner, it's implied that I'm paying the tab.
Okay.
Now, like, if the dinner's nice and we have drinks after, it's always a nice benefit when the girl's like, well, hey, let me get the drinks or something like that.
Yes.
I don't give a about the money. It's
Okay.
about the implied entitlement. And to me, that's so unattractive. That's like, if that's what she does. Oh, and then the best is when they get the valet and they need $10 for the valet. That's like, just kill me now. Like,
Yeah.
how are you not a hooker?
So now you're talking about like a date.
Yeah, like a date and a date out, to where like I want to do like a secret, like us follow dates around, and if the guy spends $400 or $500 at 3 different establishments and has to like even pay the valet, and if
Right.
they go home and like have sexual relations, well, how is that not prostitution?
Well, if you like each other, it's not prostitution.
But the guy paid for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, I don't know, but you know.
I think prostitution would be if she was only, or borderline prostitution would be if she went into the date, I guess back to your point of what's your objective. If she
Yeah.
went into the date knowing, I don't like this guy, I'm not attracted to him, but
I'm gonna have
gonna
sex
let
with
him
for
pay with
$400.
him. I'm going to let him pay for all this stuff, take me to the nicest place, take pictures, post it on Instagram, bring my
Right. girlfriends,
and then if I have to have sex with him, I will.
Yeah.
There's certainly girls who will do that.
Oh, I had a client I met at Lifetime. I don't go out with him anymore because it was too much. But nice guy, older, kind of took him under my wing because he asked me. He became a client of mine. He's like, hey, can I go out with you? I was like, yeah. Do me a favor. Never ask like that again. Just say, hey, I'll meet you out for drinks next time. But the poor guy would always feel like you meet like these girls and we're like, okay, can you get a section tonight? And he would spend money on these sections. And I'm like, you're already...
Was he wealthy?
Not wealthy, but he was rich. And what was one of your questions? You know, what is rich? And rich is the step below wealth, to where he cannot be spending money like that in his financial plan, $3,000 at a bar because girls asked him to get a section. And I'm like, start fishing from the right pond. You're fishing from the wrong pond. Any girl, any woman that's going to ask you that shouldn't be the kind of girl you're going for.
So why do rich guys do that? Because you see that a lot.
A lot.
In any big city, especially a party city, that's very normal. And girls will participate in it, especially really young girls. They'll participate in that. And everyone knows what's happening. It's not like that guy, surely he doesn't think like one of these girls is falling in love with him. Surely he knows this is a transaction for a good night for everybody.
You mean Leonardo DiCaprio is not loved by his 23-year-old girlfriend?
That I don't know. That's Hollywood. That's way out another world.
Yeah.
But yeah, why do you think guys who are rich or wealthy, or they have the money to pay for a $3,000 section? Why do they do that? With the girls involved, obviously.
A lot of them do it for different reasons. I mean, a lot of them like being Captain Save-A-Ho. You know, a lot of them like the older.
Really?
I'm gonna like, yeah. These girls are 23. I want to be like, I don't know, sugar daddy, or that same ballpark or something like that. Some are obviously trying to just get laid or something like that. And I asked the question I've always asked the question since I was younger, is how little self-worth do you have to have if you're the female? And that's what I said. I'm not trying to draw a comparison to dating and prostitution. I don't want you to think that, but it's like, have a little bit more self-worth. Now it's different to where if you know the guy and you guys have developed some sort of relationship and chemistry to where he says, hey, get 3 of your friends on one, because a lot of guys, well, that's fun, trust me. Yeah. Like if you're out with 4 guy friends, it's not that fun sitting in a section, but having 4 females to talk to where maybe one of your younger friends does hit it off with one of those girls, and it is a lot more fun having 4 guys and 4 girls than it is just having 6 guys.
Yeah.
You know?
But and I feel like in those instances, even if it's more so like something for fun, with you're bringing out the girl you're dating, you bring your friends, I'll bring my friends. I still feel like, and maybe it's just me, like the etiquette is that the guys will pay for the section. Yeah, it is. It's definitely an implied. Okay. Yeah. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if that's what you're doing, yeah.
Yeah, and then you hear that. I love when I hear the girls like rationalize and justify it. They say it like it's like a belief, like something you're taught, like a religion, or like it's like, oh well, the guys pay for the sections. Oh, they do. We're not equal anymore, are we? All that like feminist Me Too stuff.
Yeah.
That's my nickname. Snow's 2 years old.
Oh,
Me
really?
Too. Yeah. So when the Me Too movement happened,
that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly. But that's like, oh, that fits the narrative. So I was like, got it. I'll remember that. When it's convenient, you want to be equal, but when it's not, you want to go back to the chivalry. Guys pay for everything.
Yeah, that's very true. That's
Yeah.
very true. That's one of the reasons I don't subscribe to like the whole feminist agenda. I'm a feminist in the sense of like, if you're a woman, yes, you can vote, you can do whatever you want to do, but I don't subscribe to like, well, we want to be equal to men. We want to we can do anything that they can do. That's total bullshit. Especially because any single female, she wants someone else to pay for the section.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the culture that we live in.
Right.
So I think that's why when it comes to 50-50, I'm like, okay, that's the foundation that we have. And I do think that that's chivalrous. I think that that's being a gentleman. I think most men, especially in other cultures, they would be embarrassed, like to take a girl to dinner and her pick up the credit card bill.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, we're not necessarily going to be 50-50 on financials. Like, you know, the dinner bill at Lombardi comes, we're not putting down 2 cards. That's weird.
Right.
So how do women contribute, like, or especially like if you're someone who's wealthy, if you're a wealthy man and you're a millionaire and you date a girl who she has her job or her podcast or whatever, maybe she's making $100,000. She's not going to split the bills with you. You live in a $500,000 house.
And nor should she.
Yeah. So how do you think women should contribute to make up for that other 50?
By finding and thinking of creative ways to take monetarily out of it and show them little things, you know, whether it's bringing cookies over one time, whether it's picking up that round of drinks after you had Lombardi's next door at that little speakeasy place where you drop $50 there, because it's the principle. It's to show him, I'm not in this just to take you for a ride. You know, I'm not in here just for the free section, you know. But like I said, that goes, to me, I think it's all about parenting. It's the way you're raised. I was at Clarkwood a couple weekends ago, and I had a beautiful girl sitting right next to me, eyeing me down, man, right in my face, with her 2 friends behind her. And I mean, I could read her mind, you know.
Yeah, feel the energy.
I could just read it, buy me a drink. So I was like, game on, this is great. I'm just going to sit here. I was with a model of mine, Shaniqua, and she was to my left with her friend. So they kind of were having their little conversation. So this girl literally for 10 minutes was like waiting for me to talk to her. And I would not a chance. I was going to say something to her first. So finally she starts chatting me up and we start talking. I had a really good conversation. She said she was a project manager for oil and gas downtown. And then like into the conversation, she literally said, well, do you want to buy me and my friends a drink? And I'm just like, are you homeless? Like you really, like, not just you a drink. And first of all, honey, if I wanted to buy you a drink, it would have already happened. I probably would have talked to you the first 10 minutes you were staring at me. But I'm just like, no, I don't. Do your friends want to buy me a drink? You know? And it's and unfortunately, that's where we are at.
What was her reaction?
She looked a little like stuttery, but in her defense, she's not going to ask that question if it didn't work 9 out of 10 times.
True, yeah.
That most sucker guys probably would have bought her a drink and be like, yeah, sure. Oh my God, she's so hot. Oh my God, what do I do? It's like, no, she's really not that hot. She actually just became sort of desperate to me.
Yeah.
And just sad, like her parenting. It's like, who does she be raised by or ask that question? Now, if I asked her, hey, can I buy you a drink?
What would have made you ask her if you could buy her a drink, or what would have made you talk to her first?
Great question. Her not to look as desperate to where that's what she wanted in the beginning. I really am not. I'm not going to really talk to a girl first. It's not that I'm shy. It's just, and I don't know if I recognize her like from the gym, or if I saw her, hey, I know you, blah blah blah, and then it comes up organic and naturally that I want to. Yes, I'll buy somebody a drink. That I've done it before many times, but I'm not going to go up to a stranger. Can I buy you a drink? You're not like
going in there lurking.
Fuck you. That's what that means. I mean, right? Can I buy you a drink? I want to. I want to talk to you, so that we'll get there. So I think it's very weird. And then when she says, can you buy my friends a drink? I'm just like, what?
Yeah, that's definitely giving desperate vibes. Now there's some guys who would say they think it's weird if a girl approaches them in a bar and asks to buy them a drink.
I wouldn't think that's weird.
I have said, like, I think the first time I heard that, I was like, wait, why is that weird? To me, that would be like, I think if I was a guy, I would think that's exciting, because nobody ever does that. Yeah. And I've done that maybe a few times, or like send a shot across the bar, or, because I'm only going to wait so long for somebody to talk to me if I'm going to miss my opportunity if he can't see me, or worst case, he has a girlfriend and then you just cheers and never see each other again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Man, what bars do you go to?
Well, I hardly go out, so maybe like in younger years, but I don't go out too much anymore. I do like Clarkwood though. That's one of my favorites. Have you heard of kind of the discussion about like finding a high value man or a high value woman? Like I hear these terms thrown around a lot. Mm-hmm. To me, a high value man is someone, it's definitely going to involve money. I mean, he's going to be successful in whatever he does, whatever capacity that looks like. I think that would be the general consensus. What do you think a high value woman is? How would you define that?
Well, first to the man, and I told all my female friends this, that if it's just money you're looking for, there's a 100% chance that he's going to find another mountain to put his flag in after a couple of months. Yeah. Because a man's going to feel like if he's subsidizing the relationship, and normally if you're going after him for money, he's went after you for just solely looks. Mm-hmm. Well, those looks and that sex is going to get pretty vanilla after a while. Mm-hmm. So he's just going to move on to whether you guys are married together, whatever. He's going to get his side girls, whatever, because you're on a mountain. Look at him, like putting a flag on top of a mountain. He's going to look for his next challenge. So every yin and yang, there's two sides to every story. Right. So you want him just for money, he wants you for looks. So there's no value, there's no substance there. Mm-hmm. Woman value, it's got to be beneath not just looks. I mean, obviously there needs to be an initial attraction, but then after that, what drives her? What's her passion? If your passion is just OnlyFans or to dance in front of a camera and make a different TikTok, and that's not passion. That's to me, that's scary. And it's like, wow, that's what you do? Like that's what drives you? Yeah.
Why do you describe that as scary?
Because you're dancing in front of a camera. Mm-hmm. And that's norm now. Like that's regular. Mm-hmm. So like 15, 20 years ago, they'd be like, what the hell? What's this person doing? What are you doing? Yeah. And now it's like you're a stripper on camera and you're an OnlyFans and you're making, that's great, you're making money. But like I back. Money isn't everything. Like
Yeah.
you have no substance.
Right. So someone who has substance.
Yeah, what do you do in society? What's your passion? What do you like? This is awesome. Like you're educating other people.
Yeah.
You went through something, whether it's challenging or adversity, to want to do this. Same with this.
Right.
That adversity and challenge creates opportunity. You know what I mean? Like you're doing
I like
something.
that. Yeah. Would you say that the higher the value the man is, so not just meaning financially, but also a man who has substance, has purpose, has good character, is a good partner, would you argue that the more valuable he is, the more value he wants in a woman?
Yeah.
Or is that inverse? Because I feel like you see a lot of wealthy men with women of no substance.
Right, and that's not a relationship. That's like what I said, the aforementioned, like he rents her or something like that, and they probably have an open relationship each way, and it's unfortunate, because life is about extracting the 100% out of your partner. That everyone, not just relationship partners, but your best friend, and I think I gravitate, and I've been told this a lot. Like, man, I fuck with you, Pauly, because I really gravitate to you because you bring out the best of people. You want to see people bring out the best of themselves, and it's hard to maximize the 100% of your potential for many reasons. Like mental blocks, you partying. You go out and tie one on one night, then you feel like the next day.
Right.
So having a partner that can extract the 100% of you, that's what in my opinion, it's about. It's not about money.
Kind of like helping you fulfill your full potential, your full purpose on this
Purpose,
earth.
potential. See all the P's?
Yeah.
Purpose, potential, politics.
Yeah, there really is a lot. Podcasting.
It's amazing. Yeah.
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 What do you think about the whole power couple dynamic? Because for a long time, I always felt like that was what I wanted, to be this power couple, well, now I can't use a Jay-Z analogy, but a Beyonce and Jay-Z, except not them. This super high-achieving man with a high-achieving woman that come together and have just a stellar relationship, a stellar life, stellar kids. Do men like that really want a partner like that, or do they just want a woman that they can take care of, that kind of emotionally nurtures them?
I think it really depends on the man, because I have friends that would be totally turned off or feel threatened by the type of woman that I think I would work best with.
Okay.
They would be like, oh my God, yeah.
That makes sense to me. Why would they be turned off by that?
Because they would look at it as she's maybe dominant, or she has too much of a role. Do you watch any Paramount Linus?
No, but somebody just told me to watch that, so I have to know.
Yeah, it's
totally
so my wait, who was your Hollywood crush?
Patrick Dempsey.
Patrick Dempsey. One of mine is Zoe Salander.
Oh, okay.
Whatever her last name is, from Gardens of the Galaxy. Light skin,
Okay, I'd have
black,
to see
Hispanic, beautiful. But she plays a CIA agent, co-op, and she's a boss in the movie. Linus, the movie's about female CIA co-ops, and her husband is a stay-at-home. He's a heart surgeon too, but he's the always one at home, and he's such a great character. It's a great show, highly recommend it. On Paramount, another P.
Yeah.
But yeah. She's a female, strong female, and I don't think most men could do that. I'm like, hell yeah, I could.
Really?
I would run the same challenges the husband does in the show, because I don't want my wife to be killed while she's killing terrorists.
Yeah.
On a Sunday night, and then she's having dinner at my table a Tuesday night.
So how do you think you go about handling a woman like that differently than your friends who?
I think you have to have lots of security, lots of confidence that my wife not only makes as much money as I do, but she is a big voice. And like I said before, I'm best friends with my mother. a lot of I was raised by my aunts in Philadelphia, my grandmother, my great grandmother. That's how I started playing poker. A lot of the impactful people in my life have been females and strong females, but you have to have an open mind, you know?
Yeah. So maybe you kind of are used to that world.
Yes, I
of
grew
strong
up with
women.
that, yes.
And maybe they're built different in Philadelphia too.
Yes. Oh, and then the show, that's why I brought it up, Middle Eastern, like the one men were like, you're a woman, how do you talk to like men like that? Like in other cultures, like women
Right.
don't
like,
have
don't
that.
even get to talk sometimes.
Right, yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think you're going to watch the show.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely watching it now. That's 2 people who've told me to watch it. That's interesting. So it really just comes down to the guy, I guess. Because nowadays, realistically, there's a lot more women like that who are this like independent boss babe. This is the product of feminism. Okay, so this is where we are, whether or not we want to, you know, rewind on the feminist agenda, pull it back, whatever. You have people like myself who are taking care of themselves, independent, have their own stuff going on. And so guys either have to get with the program and adjust, figure out how to handle women like this, or we just have to wait, you know, slim down who we're choosing for someone who at least says that they want to deal with it.
Like, tell me what you're looking for, like being
Well,
an
I think
independent.
that's a non-negotiable. I mean, you know, I'm not going to meet someone and fall in love with him and then just abandon my life.
Right.
So this is what I built. This is where I am, which I'm just a very average middle-class person. But it's that I'm not dependent on someone. So I do come across a lot of guys who they can't handle that. But they don't ever say that at first. You know, I'm going to sound really cocky when I say this, but like, you know, they meet a super hot girl. They see that she's intelligent, she's smart. Oh, cool, you have a podcast. Oh, cool, you work for your family business. You travel, this, that, they are all the like really nice, shiny, sparkly qualities. But then it's like, okay, they start to peel back the layers of who I am, and they start to see, well, there's a person behind all that. There's a reason that I am where I am today. And with that's going to come a lot of grit, a lot of passion, a loud voice. You know, I wake up at 6 a.m. What are you doing at 6 a.m.? You know, so that raises the bar for them. If I go to the gym 4 days a week, I look like this. Why do you look like that? So they have to then raise their standard to keep up or surpass me. And then it's like, well, this is too much. And then on top of that, you add my political opinions and that we're going to debate about this, or, you know, just the way that I am. Like, we're going to go toe to toe. That's how I got to where I am. And usually in the beginning, it sounds like, you know, fine and dandy for these guys. And then later they bow out because it's too much. So it's hard. And I know there's a lot of women out there who relate to that description, that experience. It's hard to find a guy who not only wants to participate with somebody like me, but actually can do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It's
Okay.
it's twofold. It's 2 components.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like the one component is you need to want to, and the second component is you need to be able to.
Exactly. Yeah.
2 different things.
Right. Right.
A lot of people want to because she's super hot. But then when they get into it, they're like, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot.
This is a lot of work.
yeah, super hot. I like that.
I mean, people have even said that to me. Like, there's a guy, the last guy that I dated, when he ended things, he said, this is just feeling like a lot of work. And I'm like, well, yeah.
Relationships should be work.
That's what I
yeah.
think. You know, it's not
Yeah.
just always going to be fun and games. Yes, you should have fun together, for sure, and enjoy the relationship.
Yeah.
But life, if you don't work for things in life, whether that be a job or relationships or working at your fitness or a new discipline, a new hobby, learning something, then what are you doing?
It should be hard.
Yeah.
Because if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just an odd fish out of water.
No, you're not. You're very refreshing, and you just probably got the wrong guy. Obviously you did because it didn't work out.
Right. Yep, that's right. Okay, so my last question for you is, what would you like to see change about today's dating culture? So you've been in the game for a while, since you've never been married. I'm sure you've seen all different phases of dating, I would imagine. What would you like to see change about the culture today?
Having a super hot girl send me a drink or a shot from across the bar. No. Honestly, for people to step back, and I've always said there should be like driver's license. Like, what are they called? The people that you drive with to get your driver's license, like test car people.
Like, what is that called? Driver's. I don't know.
Like when you get to
Driving
get
school
driver's
teacher?
test or something like that. Yeah, they should have that for like marriage. Like you have to like sit with this person and they tell you ain't getting married. Like hell no. And I think there should be kind of like that. Like you have to get your marriage certificate. But people should really think about why there should be more education tutorials on whether it is to get married, because so many people do it, rush into it. So much money is wasted. So many, you just like families travel and it's crazy. One day for $100,000, it's like that both people are going to be having a miserable time planning, stressed out, probably not even remember half of it because your cognitive brain can't even remember when you're that stressed out. Having to talk to everyone at the reception, everyone gets 8 minutes. And you talk about work, that is work. Why not just take $15,000, have a party, invite your 15 closest friends instead of 100 people that they don't even like you don't even like them, and it's just so to change just the going forward, don't make it so much about looks. It's like, man, am I going to really get along with this person?
Yeah. That's an interesting perspective, because what you're really kind of saying is to change the marriage culture.
Correct. So your question was more about looks or
It was
dating?
more so about the dating culture, but I like your answer, because ultimately most people are dating for a long-term commitment. Most are. But those commitments are at least 50% of the time not working out.
Correct.
So there's something wrong there too.
Maybe for men, don't date just on looks. I went through a bad breakup once, and my aunt told me, she said, me too. She's like, start dating a girl that you normally wouldn't maybe date just for her looks, but like her personality, and like go out with her for a few times, maybe for a month or two, and you'll be blown away by the conversation you have with her. And I was just like, wow, I see what you're saying.
Did you do it?
Yeah, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And like for women, like don't make it just about money, because then you're going to keep getting the same results. And definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over.
Right.
You're going to get guys that just want you for sex and your body, not your insides and your soul.
Yeah, that's good, for sure. That's something people need to hear. I feel like I'm different in the sense that I'm unlike most people, regular people. I do date not for looks, but that's like that's the number one filter for me. It's
Sure.
not money.
No, it is.
Some people, it would be money. There's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of girls that'll date an ugly man who's rich.
Sure, you won't.
Absolutely
So
not.
what are not looks, what are your top three things?
Well, with the reason that looks is important is because to me, it's an immediate indicator of that person's character and what they do with their time and how they respect themselves. So if you're a guy that doesn't go to the gym, I mean, realistically speaking, unless you're old, if you're a guy and you don't have abs, because it's pretty easy for men to get abs,
Yeah.
you're being discarded.
Yeah.
Because like you're lazy. There's something that you're doing that's unattractive to me, whether it be your diet or you don't know how to work out, which is like, that's not hard to figure out. Watch YouTube, get a personal trainer, or you just don't do it. And I just don't with any of those qualities.
Okay.
So
abs.
it's more about like the why behind you looking in shape.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I do that. I take a lot of pride in being healthy, preserving my body, respecting it. You only get one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drink it away or eat it away. That makes you feel like anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So if I live my life that way, I can't, I will never coexist with someone who doesn't.
I think what you're saying, that's what you need to get in the front door into like
Yeah.
the interview.
Right.
Yeah.
Because especially with men, like if a woman doesn't respect the man, you're both.
Yeah.
She's using you, and you're gonna get hurt.
Right.
And I think sometimes we don't even realize that we don't respect him until later down the road. And I've learned that lesson the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
And I that's how I came to that conclusion. It's like, you know, I have to find someone that I respect, and that's going to mean probably turning down some guys who are really nice or kind or cute or whatever. But that's like the first filter for me, is like, you don't even do the bare minimum of respecting your own body.
Right.
Your own body that you have to look at in the mirror every single day. You sleep with that body, you shower with that body. Like, you don't even respect it enough to make sure that it looks good.
Yeah.
Then, like, you know, there's no respect here.
Yeah. I say
And
something.
men need to be respected.
No, I agree. I got called out for being like a metrosexual because I get like lined up, my eyebrows, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, you see yourself the most out of any person in the mirror. What's wrong with wanting to look decent?
Right. No, I think that's very important. And it's a very American thing to think that that's weird or to like shame that. It's probably especially in the South. Because you go to like Europe or something, you walk around Paris, nobody looks slummy.
Yeah.
Go to the airport in Paris and then go to George Bush. People don't look the same. People in America don't respect
that's a very good
their
point.
presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, making sure your beard is nice and everything is like, that's just a bare minimum quality. And single guys don't realize that doing that, like, quit subscribing to the dad bod. Like, be in excellent shape.
I think that's an excuse that people that don't want to do it, then they lie and say, "Oh, I don't need it." It's easy to say you don't need it when you don't have it.
Exactly.
Because it's hard work. Like I tell people, I'm like, you see what I'm doing on the nights and the weekends and what I choose to put on social media, but you don't see my Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. I'm eating good. I'm working out. I'm playing basketball. You know, it's like there's a lot of hard work that goes into it and discipline.
Yeah, discipline. Yeah, that's the other thing, is in order to look a certain way, it takes a lot of discipline. And that's, you know, a man who doesn't have discipline is not a man.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. But to come full circle too, I think if you want to be successful in whatever that means to you, taking care of yourself, being in good shape, having the discipline to make sure that you eat right, you cook your meals, you don't just go out and binge eat, you don't drink all the time. Having that discipline is going to give you the foundation that you need to be successful.
To take the next step.
In your career,
to
or
break
to
through.
become wealthy, or to build your business, like whatever it is that you're going to do, I think.
We're not just narcissists here. We're not just calling ourselves super hot, and I'm talking about how good a shape I am.
Yeah.
There's a method behind our madness.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm serious, because for me, in the dating culture, that's the number one problem.
Yeah.
People don't care about themselves.
100%.
If everyone would just for 90 days stop worrying about dating other people, stop worrying about getting laid, delete the apps.
Yeah.
Just go to the gym 5 days a week. Don't go out and party. Cook your meals. Pick up a book. Read one book each month or more. Everything would change.
Yeah.
Everything would change. Get on your supplements. If you're a guy with low testosterone, which is what, like, now 70% of men 30 years or older have low testosterone, go get some.
Yeah.
Get some, synthetic or whatever. If everybody did that, this entire country would look different.
Yeah, you could write a short book about like how to, like, within 90 days, how to transform your life by Natalie or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. Because you already have all the answers, and you could probably write the book in 3 nights.
Honestly, yeah. Just get on a rant. Just keep
Yeah,
going.
that's all it takes.
Okay, cool. Well, Pauly, is there anything else that you want to say? Anything else you want to leave us with?
Just thank you very much for having me on. I met Natalie 6 months ago, maybe, at the gym at Lifetime Fitness, and we share a lot of the same beliefs, apparently, and found out a lot more about her. And I just really appreciate, you wanting the male perspective on things. It's very
Yeah.
refreshing.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it. That's what he said.
Yep. It's a wrap.
Yay.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's episode of That's What He Said. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope you're taking away something valuable that will benefit your dating life. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give this show a follow, rate, and review. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, like this video, and most importantly, comment below because I want to hear what you said. See you next time.